Well, hello friends. Welcome back to yet another episode of the CiBillion. And today we will be talking about the key concept of Hedgehog Concept. Now, we begin this video with a question. Are you a hedgehog or a fox? Now, you might be confused, but let me explain. Now, there's a famous story which divides the world into hedgehogs and foxes. Now, the fox knows many things, but the hedgehog knows only one big thing. The fox is a clever creature which is able to devise many complex strategies for attacks upon the hedgehog. Day in and day out, the fox circles around the hedgehog's den waiting for a perfect moment to strike. Fast, sleek, beautiful, and crafty. The fox looks like the sure winner. But wait for the hedgehog. The hedgehog, on the other hand, is a small creature as compared to a fox which roams around searching for lunch and taking care of his home as usual. Now the fox waits for him patiently, and when they come face to face, the fox thinks, "Aha, I've got you now." But this isn't the case with the hedgehog. The little hedgehog, sensing danger, looks up and thinks, "Ha, here we go again. When will the fox ever learn?" Now, rolling up into a perfect little ball, the hedgehog becomes a ball of sharp spikes, pointing outwards in all the directions. Each day, some version of this battle takes place between the fox and the hedgehog, and despite the greater abilities of the fox, the hedgehog always wins every time. Now, the simple moral of this story is that people are mainly of two types. Either they are like the fox or they are like the hedgehog. Foxes have many tips and tricks under their sleeve, whereas the hedgehog has just one simple concept. But what does this story has to do anything with our video? Well, those who ever built the good to great companies were to one degree or another hedgehogs, whereas the comparison companies were more like foxes and were instead scattered, diffused, and inconsistent throughout their journey. So, before we explain more, I would like to tell you that this is a channel of the entrepreneurs, by the entrepreneurs, and for the entrepreneurs. And we're aiming to be the #1 entrepreneurship channel in India. So please help us by subscribing and share our content with your friends and families to educate them further on the topic of business and entrepreneurship. And do follow us on Instagram. Our community of like-minded people is growing bigger day by day. And now we come back to our topic. So basically, a hedgehog concept is a simple concept which becomes a reference for all the present and future decisions taken in a company. Whenever any decision is about to be taken, the executives ensure that whether it's aligned with our hedgehog concept or not. If it's aligned, the executives take the decision. If it's not, the executives look for something else and an alternative emerges. To clearly define a hedgehog concept, we can say it's a simple concept that is a common denominator among the three circles. Now, what are the three circles? Now, the first circle is what you are deeply passionate about. The first one describes about what you're really passionate about. It's basically the reason why you wake up each and every morning to do something that you're extremely passionate and will go to any length for that work. And the second circle is what you can be the best at in the world. Now, the second circle describes the one thing that you are really best at. It says that just because you're good at something doesn't mean you can be best at it. Now, I like playing chess, but am I a grandmaster in chess? Definitely not. So you need to find something where you can perform at the maximum level. Think of Usain Bolt and sprinting. Think of Michael Phelps and swimming. Think of Arnold Schwarzenegger and bodybuilding. They are best at it. Now the third circle is what drives your economic engine. The third and final circle describes about what could possibly be the best way to get a robust, sustained cash flow and profitability despite cutthroat competition in the market. In short, imagine yourself doing a job for which you have a genetic or God-given talent and you can be the best in the world in applying that talent. You're also well paid for that job, and lastly, you're doing this job because you're completely in love with it as it's your passion and hobby. Now, you can build a successful company and earn good money if you do things in which you can be good at, but to build a great company, you need to do things where you can be the best at what you do. Have a lot of passion for it, and finally monetize it to drive your economic engine. Now, many companies who become great made significant changes after asking the three questions to them and then responded when the answers were completely clear. Every company likes to be the best at something, but very few companies ever try to find the answers. Now, many companies went bankrupt and were acquired because they didn't figure out what was their strength. They were just competing on their weaknesses, or even if they were good, there was someone even better than them in the market. So never compete in the market on your weaknesses, or if you are mediocre at them, or even if you are good at them, because there will be someone in the market that will be better than you, stronger than you, sharper than you. Now, on the other hand, some companies accepted that they have lost an opportunity to be the best at something, and then they shifted their focus onto something where they can be best at from now. Now think of Xerox as a company. When they lost on the opportunity of making the personal computer to Steve Jobs, they shifted their focus onto other products and competed in an arena where they can be the best at. Now, after losing the market share and the opportunity to compete for the personal computer, they competed for projectors, scanners, copiers, and various other equipments that they produce now. Now, some of the most successful companies always accept that they have lost an opportunity to be the best at something, and instead they shift their focus onto something where they can be the best at from now on. And the Xerox is the best example for this situation. Now, just because something is your core business, or just because you have been doing it for years or even perhaps for decades, does not necessarily mean that you can be the best in the world at it. And if you can't be the best at your core business, then your core business can't form the basis of your hedgehog concept. Now, the hedgehog concept requires a severe standard of excellence. It's not just about building on your strength and competence, but also understanding what your organization truly has the potential to be the very best at and sticking to it for as long as possible. The added bonus of a hedgehog concept is that it helps in the growth of a company. Now, many companies focused on growth but failed miserably. On the other hand, the companies that had successful good to great transformation didn't focus on growth anytime. They simply figured out the right hedgehog concept for them, and after some time, they witnessed a massive growth. Although a hedgehog concept can be very helpful for a company, but finding such a concept is difficult and takes a lot of time. And in the book, they say that it took about an average of 4 years for a good to great company to clearly define their hedgehog concept. So, if you don't get your hedgehog concept at just the first glance or the first look, don't worry. You can take about a couple of years to clearly define what your hedgehog concept exactly is. Now, to find your hedgehog concept, you should ask a lot of questions, get involved in a lot of debates and discussions, take executive decisions, and conduct some autopsies and analysis. But remember, without blame. And all of the debate and discussions should be guided by the 3 circles, which we just discussed earlier. And lastly, concluding this video, none of the good to great companies were in great industries. That means no matter how bad the industry, every good to great company figured out how to produce truly superior economic returns, and you can do the same. You may be in a bad industry, you may be going through a recession, an economic downturn, a depression, you may be on the verge of bankruptcy, but you can also figure out how to produce truly superior economic returns. And this was the concept of hedgehog concept, which was a key concept of disciplined thought. And in the next one, we will be talking about disciplined action, which has 2 key concepts. The first one is culture of discipline, and the second is technology accelerators. So thank you for being with us until the end, and we'll meet you in the next one. Thank you.